we discuss conditions associated with proteinuria and nephrotic syndrome. Debye methods considered as a qualitative method for detection of the presence of the protein in urine. And this considers detection of the albuminuria and are less sensitive for the other forms of proteinuria like low molecular weight proteins, Ben-Johnson protein, and gamma globulins. The following result, which is done by general urine examination, which is considered as also Debye methods, reflects the presence of the protein, the amount of the protein in urine, as follows as: negative mean there is no protein in urine. Trace mean that there is 10 to 20 milligram per deciliter of protein in urine. 1 plus mean 30 milligram per deciliter of protein in urine. 2 plus 100 milligram per deciliter, where 3 plus 300 milligram per deciliter, where 4 plus mean the range of the protein in the urine between 1000 to 2000 milligram per deciliter. Children with persistent proteinuria should have a quantitative assessment for the presence of the proteinuria, and this is done by 24 hours urine collection, which offer more precise information about the condition of the patient and about the amount of the protein in the urine in 24 hours. The upper limit of normal protein excretion in healthy children is around 150 milligram per 24 hours. More specifically, we said normal protein excretion in children is defined as less than 4 milligram per meter square per hour, where the abnormal presence of the protein urine is defined between 4 to 40 milligram per meter square per hour. When we say the patient has nephrotic range or in a state of nephrotic condition, the protein in the urine should be more than 40 milligram per meter square per hour. Nephrotic syndrome. Nephrotic syndrome is considered as a primary pediatric disorder. Has 4 main characteristic features, which are heavy proteinuria, more than 3.5 gram per 24 hours in adults, or 40 milligram per meter square per hour in children. Second, hypoalbuminemia, less than 2.5 gram per deciliter, edema, and hyperlipidemia. So when we suspect the patient has nephrotic syndrome, he should have the 4 main characteristic features, which are heavy proteinuria, hypoalbuminemia, edema, and hyperlipidemia. Etiology of the nephrotic syndrome. Most of the children, about 90%, which attended to the hospital or clinic as a case of the nephrotic syndrome, it is formed as idiopathic nephrotic syndrome, as a type of idiopathic nephrotic syndrome, which account, as we said, 90% of the cases. And there is 3 underlying causes of idiopathic nephrotic syndrome, which mean 3 underlying histological disorder. These minimal changes disease account about 85%, mesangial proliferation account about 5%, and focal segmental glomerulosclerosis about 10%. The other remaining 10% of children with nephrotic syndrome has a form or type of secondary nephrotic syndrome, and this related to the systematic disease or due to the systematic disease of condition or glomerular disease or glomerular disease such as membranous nephropathy or membranoproliferative glomerulonephritis. Or maybe there is other causes of secondary nephrotic syndrome like drugs which cause secondary nephrotic syndrome like gold therapy. Idiopathic nephrotic syndrome, as we said, account about 90% of the cases. So the most of the cases which attended to the hospital or the clinic have the form of the idiopathic nephrotic syndrome. These has 3 histological types: minimal changes, mesangial proliferation, and focal segmental glomerulosclerosis. These 3 histological disorders may present as three separated disease, but with a clinical or similar clinical presentation. Clinical manifestation. The idiopathic nephrotic syndrome is more common in male than in female, about 2 to 1%, and most commonly appear between the age of the 2 and 6 years. The initial episode and subsequent relapses may follow minor infection. This syndrome may initially misdiagnose as an allergic disorder because of the periorbital swelling that mimic the allergic disorder that decreases through the day, but with this syndrome, with the time, the edema becomes generalized with the development of ascites, pleural effusion, and genital edema. Other symptoms, including in the clinical manifestation of nephrotic syndrome, anorexia, irritability, abdominal pain, and diarrhea are common. Hypertension and gross hematuria is unlikely in minimal changes. Nephrotic syndrome. The differential diagnosis of the child with marked edema include protein-losing enteropathy, hepatic failure, congestive heart failure, and acute or chronic glomerulonephritis, protein malnutrition. These 5 main differential diagnoses of patients with nephrotic syndromes, because all these 5 are present with edema. A diagnosis other than the minimal changes in glomerulonephritis or minimal changes in nephrotic syndrome should be considered in the presence of the age of the patient is less than 1 year, family history, and extrarenal finding like arthritis, rash, anemia, hypertension or pulmonary edema, acute or chronic renal insufficiency, and hematuria. All these clinical presentation it's unlikely to occur with minimal changes, but it's occur with nephrotic syndrome other than the minimal changes nephrotic syndrome. Diagnosis. The urine analysis revealed 3 plus or 4 plus proteinuria. This is as a qualitative estimation of proteinuria. Microscopical hematuria may present in 20% of the children. Spot urine protein creatinine ratio exceed 2, and urinary protein excretion exceeds 3.5 gram per 24 hours in adult and 40 milligram per meter square per hour in children. The serum creatinine value is usually normal. The serum albumin level is generally less than 2.5 gram per deciliter. The serum cholesterol and triglyceride level are elevated. C3 level and C4 level are normal. This is in contrast to the nephritic syndrome. In nephritic syndrome, there is abnormal C3 and C4 level, where in nephrotic syndrome, the level is normal. Renal biopsy is not required for the diagnosis in the most children. So the main diagnosis depends on the presence of the proteinuria, which exceeding more than 3.5 gram per 24 hours or 40 milligram per meter square in children. And the serum albumin level is generally less than 2.5 gram per deciliter with elevated cholesterol and triglyceride level. So this is considered the main 3 point for the diagnosis of nephrotic syndrome. Treatment. Children having the first episode of nephrotic syndrome and mild to moderate edema may manage as outpatient. Such affected children may attend school and participate in physical activities as tolerated. So when the children present with mild clinical signs and symptoms of nephrotic syndrome, so should be treated as outpatient. Where children with severe symptomatic edema include large pleural effusions, ascites, or severe genital edema should be hospitalized. In hospital, sodium intake should be reduced by the initial steps of a treatment and then may be normalized when the child enters remission. A swollen scrotum may be elevated with pillows to enhance the removal of fluid by the gravity. Drug therapy, first of all, diuresis may be administration of chlorothiazide in dose of 10 mg per kg per dose IV every 12 hours, then followed by furosemide 30 minutes later in dose of 2 mg per kg per dose IV every 12 hours. The use or the rule of the use of the 25% of human albumin is often necessary when the fluid restriction and parenteral diuretic are not effective. So in this point, when the fluid restriction and parenteral diuretic is not effective of improving the clinical symptom and sign, then the administration of the IV human albumin in a dose of 0.5 gram per kg per dose every 12 hours, administered over the 1 to 2 hours, followed by furosemide in 2 mg per kg per dose IV. Children with onset of nephrotic syndrome between the age of 1 to 8 years are likely to have steroid responsive minimal changes nephrotic syndrome. Steroid therapy may be initiated without diagnostic renal biopsy. In such age group with nephrotic syndrome, no need to do diagnostic renal biopsy, and the steroid therapy may be initiated without this diagnostic renal biopsy. On other hand, children with features that make minimal changes nephrotic syndrome are likely or less likely when there is hematuria, hypertension, renal insufficiency, hypocomplexemia. Age group less than 1 or over 8 years should consider for a renal biopsy before treatment. Corticosteroid therapy in nephrotic syndrome. How to use this corticosteroid therapy? Children with the minimal changes in nephrotic syndrome should start prednisolone in daily divided doses at the dose of 60 mg per meter square per day in 2-3 divided doses for at least 6 weeks. After 6 weeks, the prednisolone should be tapered to 40 mg per meter square, and the dose given every other day as a single morning dose, and then slowly tapered and discontinue over the next 2 to 3 months. Children who continue to have proteinuria after 8 weeks of steroid therapy are considered steroid resistant and need for the diagnostic renal biopsy. So in summary, we use prednisolone in daily divided doses and at the dose of 60 mg. Then after 6 weeks, the patient should be shifted to the alternative daily dose in form of 40 mg given as a single morning dose. Then slowly tapered and discontinue over the next 2 to 3 months. In cases of the relapse, when we consider the patient have a relapse when there is 3 to 4 proteinuria plus edema, should be treated as from the beginning. Should be treated with daily divided doses of prednisolone at the doses noted earlier and until the child enter remission. Remission state means urine trace or negative for protein for 3 consecutive days. The prednisolone dose then change to the alternative day dosing and tapered over 1 to 2 months. Relapses treated as a new cases with daily divided doses of prednisolone at the same dose of 60 mg until the child enters the remission. Remission means the protein in urine is trace or negative for 3 consecutive days. Then the prednisolone changed to the alternative day dosing and tapered over 1 to 2 months. As we said before, children who fail to respond to prednisolone therapy within 8 weeks are considered or termed steroid resistance. Steroid resistant nephrotic syndrome is usually focal segmental glomerulosclerosis around 80% and rarely to be mesangial proliferative. The dose of the cyclophosphamide is 2 to 3 mg per kg per 24 hours given as a single oral dose for total duration of 8 to 12 weeks. So, patient with steroid treated with cyclophosphamide in 2 mg per kg per 24 hours as a single oral dose for a duration of about 12 weeks. Alternative day prednisolone therapy is often continued during the course of the cyclophosphamide administration, and during the cyclophosphamide therapy, the white blood cell count must be monitored weekly, and the drug should be withheld if the count fall below 5,000 per meter square per cubic millimeter. Complication of nephrotic syndrome. The major complication of nephrotic syndrome is the infection. Spontaneous bacterial peritonitis is the most frequent type of infection, although sepsis, pneumonia, cellulitis, and urinary tract infection may also be seen. Although Streptococcus pneumonia is the most common organism causing peritonitis, gram-negative bacteria such as Escherichia coli may also be considered. All children with nephrotic syndrome should receive polyvalent pneumococcal vaccine, and ideally this vaccine should be given with the child in a remission state and off daily prednisolone therapy, and this if the patient is not also previously immunized. Influenza vaccine should be given on a yearly basis. Other complications considered as important dilemmas of the nephrotic syndrome, both arterial and venous thrombosis, which include renal vein thrombosis, pulmonary embolism, sagittal sinus thrombosis, and thrombosis of indwelling arterial and venous catheters. Other complication, which is important, hyperlipidemia, particularly in complicated patients with nephrotic syndrome.